Okay, then let's go. Hello, my friends. Today I want to show you a feature of Simulator Controller, especially for the programming of your button boxes. It is kind of an expert feature and not easy to understand, but I will try my best so that you can follow the demonstration as closely as possible. And yeah, here at the Discord, if there is anyone who has a question, please jump in, interrupt me. I will be very happy to answer it. Okay, let's start. First, a quick recap. What are we talking about? I think all of you know that Simulator Controller can use several control devices for input. For example, you can use your button boxes, you can use your Stream Deck or your steering wheel with the buttons, controls and dials to give input to Simulator Controller, to give commands to the race assistants, but also to control aspects of your simulation. For this, Simulator Controller provides the so-called plugins. These are modules which define several commands, and you can associate a command with a button on a button box, for example. You can see it here. These are the two button boxes I am using, and currently we have the so-called launch mode active from the system plugin, which gives me the opportunity to launch different applications. For example, the simulators I have, ACC is currently running on another screen and so on. And you can switch to different modes here by using the mode selector. Here is one and here's another one, but I can also click here in the visual display and you see it will switch the meanings of the buttons on the button box. The modes of the predefined plugins are pre-programmed, so the commands you will see here are kind of predefined. You can configure them in terms of location on your button box, but the amount of commands available here are fixed. But there's also a different method with which you can define your own layer. Sorry. You can define your own layer or your own buttons on the button box using anything you can imagine. You can call applications on your Windows PC. You can trigger mouse clicks. You can send commands, keyboard commands to your simulator, and you can call almost any function inside the internal programming language of Simulator Controller. And today I will demonstrate you this because it's very, very helpful to customize your button box even further. Okay, let's start with a very simple example. We want to define a button which opens the Windows Explorer, the window, the file explorer you use to navigate on your hard drives. You will know that the keyboard command for this is Windows key pressed together with the E key. And there is a method to send keyboard commands to almost anything using Simulator Controller, and we will use this to define a button which opens the Explorer. Okay, let's do this. I will use the low-level configuration program for the demonstration purposes, but you can also use the wizard simulator setup with a configuration patch file. I will show this later on. Okay, we'll go to the controller page and create a new custom function. The custom function, we must give it a number. I have already defined a couple of custom functions. I think the range beginning with 40 is available, so we define the custom function number 40. And now we can here define a hotkey which triggers this custom function, something we will not do now because we will bind it to a button on the button box. But we will have to define the action which this custom function stands for. There are lots of actions at your disposal. You will find them in the documentation, in the installation configuration document, and there at the top for the controller, this is the area we are currently in here in our configuration tool. And here you will find a list of all functions which are available. The list is quite long, and we will use now the trigger function, which lets you send keyboard commands to the system. And the available syntax for defining keyboard commands is documented here. And as you can see here, we have this sign representing the Windows key. So what we will do now is we define a custom function here which calls trigger together with the Windows key together with the E key. We will add it to the list of available functions. And the second thing we have to do now is to define a new layer for our button boxes. This is the purpose or the plugin which is responsible for that is the system plugin. There is an argument for the plugin which is named custom commands. You can find documentation about that in the plugins and modes documentation chapter for the system plugin. But for now it's quite easy. You only must know you will have to name the mode. We will name it now test. And then you can define a couple of bindings, one for each button. And we want to define one button now. It should have the name Explorer. The name will be displayed here in this label. You must know the button number you want to bind. I know that this is the button number 1. And then the next argument is the custom function you want to call. In this case, it is custom 40 as we defined it before. So we save that and save the configuration. I have to restart simulator controller for the changes to take effect. But before we start simulator controller, we configure the new mode as the start mode whenever you are in, let's say, in the desktop or at the main page of the simulation. And for this you can use the controller automation, where you can say, for example, when Assetto Corsa Competizione is active, but we are not in a session, we want to have, sorry, what's that? Apply. I must check whether everything has been saved because the mode didn't show up. Okay, defined. Now it's there. Okay, because Assetto Corsa Competizione is currently running, the system will detect that, and we say now when Assetto Corsa Competizione is running, but we are not in an active session, we want to have the test mode pre-selected. Okay, save, start. The system starts up. It detects Zeta Corsa Competizione as the running simulation. And normally it should show now this mode. It doesn't do it, so we will move to the mode automatically, and now here it is. Okay, when we now press this button, I will do it now, it will open the Explorer as we have defined it. Okay, as I said, we have a long list of functions to be used here. Another very interesting one is the
oil and gas licenses in the North Sea. I do think that climate change now is going to shape the next general election like never before. And the short-term scrap of votes will jockey with the long-term challenges of decarbonising the economy and getting people to change the way they live their lives.
Sorry, I must mute one of our participants because he has had his microphone open. Okay, another one we will try now is the mouse command or mouse action to send a mouse click to the screen. A very interesting one. We will go back here in our configuration. Define another function. Let's name it 41. And we will have a mouse command with the left mouse key. And now we need some coordinates to at the screen. And a very useful utility here is provided with the simulator controller distribution. You can find it in utilities. It's named Windows Spy. If you run it, you will open this small window. And in this window, you can see where the mouse cursor currently is. The screen position here, for example, will update when you move the mouse. And we will now use this position here to send a click with the left mouse button. It's 3491. 3489 and minus 894. And what this will do, after we have configured it, we will name it close. Button number 2 and custom punct dot 41. No, 41. So, I must check something here. Okay. Save, apply, and restart. And now we here have the close button. And now when we click this, the mouse jumps over to the Explorer window and closes it. Once again, reopen the Explorer window, click on close, and it's gone. So this is only this was a demonstration how to create your own modes. You name it and you create a number of commands to use in this mode and define with which button or which control on your controller device it will be triggered. Next, I will show you two more meaningful modes I have defined for myself. And then you will see how everything comes together. First, let me show you how they look. To do this, I will start a session in ACC.
Hi Oliver, I am Marcel. I will keep an eye on the other cars for you. We have 25 degrees air temperature and 31 degrees on the track and it is dry. You are starting from P1. The race will last 60 minutes. It's about to go green.
Sorry, we must change something here. Restart. And once again. Okay, now we're there. Simulator controller
Hi Oliver,
detected
I am Marcel.
that an
I will
ACC
keep an
session
eye
is
on the other
running,
cars for you.
and as I
It is
have
dry with 25 degrees air
defined it
temperature and
here in
31
the
degrees track temperature. You
automation
have qualified
area,
for P1. There are 60 exciting minutes ahead.
when a
The
race
race start
session
is
is
near.
active, I want to have the modes mode and the drive mode to be visible on the button box. The modes mode, let me show you, is defined as this one here. It has a couple of commands in the modes mode here: launch, chat, motion, chassis, pedal, and drive, and pit stop. And the purpose of this mode is a kind of main menu which I can use to jump to one of the other modes by the click of a single button. For example, if I want to have the pedal mode, which I can use to increase the TC feedback on my gas pedal, I can jump it directly here by using this button, or when I want to have the chassis mode to increase the different chassis effects I use with my butt kickers, I can press here. And the drive mode is the other one, which shows on this button box, and it is used to control several aspects of the simulation and also of the car itself. For example, I can switch the lights with using these buttons. I can plan a pit stop, send this message to the race engineer. I can jump to the control pit stop page, which let me dial every aspect of the pit stop manually. And very interesting, I can switch between the dry mode and the wet mode. And here I want to show you what this is doing. As you can see here, the dry mode on button number 1, this one, will activate the custom function number 30, and this is this one here. And this button calls the controller action function select track automation dry. I have track automations pre-configured in the session database for various tracks, which dials traction control, ABS settings, brake balance, depending on the position on the track. Just to show you for all of those of you which has never seen this, it can be done using the session database. And when you are on a given track, you have the automation area and can define control points at various positions on the track where you send keyboard commands to your simulation. And I use this to switch between different traction control settings and so on. And using the controller action function select track automation, you can choose with the given argument one of the predefined automation settings here. For example, you are in a long endurance race, 24 hours, for example. You will have several traction control maps for dry track, for light wet track, and for full wet track. And you can use the buttons while you're driving to switch between the traction automation modes. Very, very helpful. Planning a pit stop is something which is also available using voice commands and other actions as well. But I want to have all controls I normally use here on one page, so I pre-configured this special mode, which is always visible while I am driving. The planned pit stop, for example, here is activated by another special controller action function. It's named invoke. Invoke means I can send any message to any of the internally defined plugins, and this is the expert part of this demonstration. You must know which methods are available for which plugins, so it needs a little bit programming know-how, but this one could have been done also by using the documented and easily accessible controller action function named plan pit stop. So when you go here through the list, you will find a simple function named plan pit stop, which does the same. But because I am more programmer oriented, I'm using the invoke. And the last one, this one here is also very interesting. Set mode lets you select any mode of any plugin and bring it up to the controller. The custom function number 37 is associated. Let's take a look. Where is it? It's here with button number 8. This is this one. And the label for it is control carriage return pit stop, as you can see here. And when I click on this, it will activate the full pit stop control mode, which is predefined by the ACC plugin, which lets you dial any pit stop setting from your button box. Using set mode, you can navigate to any mode from any plugin you want to have activated here. So that is it. Very versatile, very flexible, but as you have seen, also needs some internal know-how. You can't do nothing wrong. Try to experiment with it and define your own button box layers. You can do the same for Stream Deck, but Stream Deck also already has a profile mode with several different definitions for each button, so it's not of much use there. But for a button box where you want to define your own layer, it's very helpful. So, any questions so far? Oh, no, no, no. Okay, then I'm done for today, and yes, have fun with your button box. Bye bye.